Welcome to Friends and Fiction. 4 New York Times bestselling authors, endless stories. Novelists Mary Kay Andrews, Kristen Harmel, Christy Woodson Harvey, and Patty Callahan Henry are 4 longtime friends with more than 70 published books between them. Together, they host Friends and Fiction, with author interviews and fascinating insider talk about publishing and writing, to highlight and support independent bookstores. They discuss the books they've written, the books they're reading now, and the art of storytelling. If you love books and you're curious about the writing world, you're in the right place.
Hello, everyone. Patty Callahan Henry here. I'm thrilled to introduce our show for the week, which is a replay of a show we did with Louise Penny last year for her novel, The Gray Wolf. Right now, her new novel, The Black Wolf, is out, and it has hit #1 on the New York Times list. She has won so many awards, but she has also won our hearts. One of our very favorite authors and someone we are pleased to show a repeat of our show from last year as we celebrate the success of her newest Gamache mystery series, The Black Wolf.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Friends and Fiction Show. I'm Kristen Harmel.
And I'm Patty Callahan Henry.
And this is Friends and Fiction. 4 New York Times bestselling authors, endless stories to support indie bookstores, authors, and librarians. On this episode, we are thrilled to welcome back our old friend Louise Penny to discuss her new novel, The Gray Wolf. The book was just released on August 29th, and we are so excited to speak to Louise about it.
But first, I know you guys are ready for Louise, but we have some things to talk to you guys about. So we have so many fun things going on in Friends and Fiction in our community right now. And you can check it all out on friendsandfiction.com. And you said August 29th.
I did. I'm looking at the past. Apparently, yes. No, it comes out October 29th. And if I said August 29th, that bodes very poorly for the rest of this show because
No, you're going to get over that hump. Keep going.
Oh my gosh, where is my brain? But first, we have just a quick, like you said that, to check out friendsandfiction.com. So on friendsandfiction.com, you will find our show schedule and links to our bookshop.org page, to the award-winning Friends and Fiction official book club with Brenda and Lisa, to our merch store, and to our newsletter sign up. You will also find links to our upcoming live and in-person events, including 2 next week on Wednesday and Thursday, November 5th and 6th in Orlando and Amelia Island, Florida. So in other words, if you want to know more about anything Friends and Fiction offers, and we offer a lot if you couldn't tell from that exhaustive laundry list, be sure to check out friendsandfiction.com.
Also, I want to talk to all of you about our Friends and Fiction Endless Stories newsletter, also called a Substack. You can read all of these posts on the Substack website or app, or they can land in your inbox every single week, sometimes twice a week, so you don't miss a thing. So let me explain this. It is way more than an email newsletter. For example, for paid subscribers, we offer this incredible extra content, including this week, an interview with our beloved Louise Penny. We have deeper dives into our weekly shows. We have bonus interviews. We have pub day spotlights. We also send out information about any giveaway that we're doing, like one I have this month. We have monthly roundtable discussions between the 4 of us and our author friends. So, for example, Christy just did one with Ann Garvin, Allie Brady, and Viola Shipman about summer camp and why setting books there is so appealing. And also this past week, there was this incredible, I think I've read it twice, conversation that Kristen just had with Alice Hoffman about her new YA novel, When We Flew Away, which is all about Anne Frank and the impact of her diary. So back to Substack. It costs about $5 a month or $50 a year for the paid subscription, but you can always start free and upgrade. So check us out at friendsandfiction.substack.com.
All right. So now for the reason that you're all really here, which is to hear from Louise Penny. So let's welcome our friend Louise.
Louise is the #1 New York Times, USA Today, and Globe and Mail bestselling author of the Chief Inspector Armand Gamache novels. She was also the co-author with Hillary Rodham Clinton in the #1 New York Times bestselling author. It was called The State of Terror.
So, Louise, a former journalist with the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, has won numerous awards, including a CWA Dagger and multiple Agatha Awards. She was also a finalist for the Edgar Award for Best Novel.
Louise lives in a small village south of Montreal. When she comes on, you will see the beautiful backdrop of her hometown. In 2017, she received the Order of Canada for her contributions to Canadian culture. Her new book, The Grey Wolf, was just released on October 29th and is the 19th installment in the Armand Gamache series.
Sean, can you bring Louise on, please?
There I am, and there you are.
Hi, Louise.
How are you?
Podcast.
Oh,
For sure. I'm doing well. Thank you. Yeah, exciting. You can see it's a beautiful day here in Quebec.
Absolutely gorgeous. We're still in hurricane cleanup mode here in Orlando, and we have piles and piles of stuff outside. So you don't want to see what it looks like outside my house right now. All right. So, Louise, we are so glad to have you. Now, The Grey Wolf, the 19th novel in your #1 New York Times bestselling Armand Gamache series, opens in the tiny Quebec village of Three Pines, where Gamache, the head of homicide for the Sûreté, lives with his wife, Reine Marie. They're enjoying coffee in the back garden when suddenly the quiet of the morning is interrupted by a series of troubling phone calls, which kick off a series of increasingly perilous events that involve monks, the Vatican, the US and Canadian governments, and a possible terrorist plot that could change the balance of power in the world. So that is a bit about what this absolutely thrilling book is about. Can you tell us a little bit more on what it's really about at its core?
Well, it's really about chartreuse.
That's awesome.
That's
awesome.
Chartreuse, yes.
Don't you find when you're writing that often the book starts with something really obscure?
Yes.
Like even like a conversation overheard, or even a single word, or just something you've read in the newspaper, a headline. And for me, this started when I read an article about chartreuse, the liqueur, which I don't drink anymore. But apparently, if I did, the last thing you want to drink is chartreuse. Apparently,
I'll remember that. But okay,
looks pretty. It's this emerald green. It's chartreuse.
That's awesome.
But what was fascinating about it is that chartreuse is made, as many of these things are, by monks in a monastery, and has been for hundreds of years. And it's the Carthusian monks in France. But at any one time, only 2 monks in the monastery in the world know what the recipe is. Oh. And they've tried to figure it out. They've tried to steal it. All sorts of distilleries have tried to mock it up. They know that there's, I think, 130 herbs. And they've identified some of them, but they don't really know, obviously, what all of them are and what proportions. And then when one monk is about to shuffle off the mortal coil, they hand the recipe over to someone else. And how amazing is that they've managed to keep this secret for so long?
Stunning.
So that's that. I read that a few years ago, and I thought, I think there's something there. There's something there. And so it plays a role finally in this book.
So that's where this book began for you, with reading about chartreuse.
Yes, and then just began to grow from there and obviously chartreuse is, because you've both read the book, does not play a huge role in it, but it is, like many of the little elements, somewhat pivotal. They're just like the turning of a screw. So that was fun. But really what it's about, and what most of my books are about, is about choice. About what we're the end product of every choice we've made. Every choice we've made that day. What time to get up, what to wear, who to talk to, what to say. All of that comes together to make who we are at this particular moment. But that I also draw on something that I used in an earlier book, The Beautiful Mystery, set in a monastery. And it's the story, and I've heard different versions of it, but the one that I used is that a Cree elder, many, many years ago, hundreds of years ago, was talking to his grandson. And he explained to his grandson that he has two wolves battling inside him. The gray wolf wants him to be kind, to be compassionate, to be civil and forgiving. And the black wolf wants him to be vengeful and violent and exact revenge. And the grandson is terrified at this idea that there are these two wolves tearing his grandfather apart. So he runs away, and then he comes back a day or two later and asks his grandfather which wolf is going to win. And the grandfather says, the one that I feed.
So beautiful.
I've always loved that. And I know a lot of people know that story, but it's always seemed to me so powerful and something that I personally can forget in my life. And so it's been very important for me to sit with that for the whole year and now going forward through the tour to remember you have a choice.
Yes.
What are you going to feed? Are you going to be clever and cutting and cruel?
Yeah.
It's very tempting.
Yeah.
Just to have that funny remark that you don't realize is actually very hurtful, or to be overtly hurtful and undercutting.
Yep.
Or just be kind. Yeah. Just, turn the other cheek. Just be nice. Just be forgiving. Just understand that, as we learned you talked, Kristen, about the flooding and the hurricane damage, that the people who disagree with you politically and maybe religiously and morally will be there for you. They're not going to ask, who are you going to vote for?
Mm-mm.
They will give you the shirt off their back if they had to.
Yeah.
Oh man, and is this the week to hear that message or what? I mean, it's true. You're right. We have to remember our shared humanity at the core of everything.
Yes. Yeah.
I would say
and if we don't, if someone hurts us, just drink chartreuse.
Just like we should.
It all circles back. Yeah.
It all circles back. First of all, I'm consistently fascinated with the seeds of stories. I think it's one of the most interesting things when we talk about writing them. So I love hearing that, because the seed isn't always the whole story. It's just like the little thing that sprouted the story. But back to the gray wolf and feeding the right wolf.
Yeah.
One of the things that always strikes us about your novels is that they do have this deep sense of decency. Even with all of the illegal things swirling around, even with the deceptions and the evil plots and murder, the core of these novels is that they are about a very good human being, Gamache. And he might be conflicted at times, and he's not perfect, but he is as solid as they come, as are Beauvoir and Lacoste, which makes each of these novels feel very much like what you said, a struggle between good and evil. Maybe we might even say the black wolf and the gray wolf. Yeah. And I wonder, as a writer, how these characters came to you with this deep goodness and how that was formed on the page and in your mind.
It's a great question. And, I know that I am in safe hands with the two of you, and that you've been very honest about your own struggles, with your health and all the issues that come along with that. So I will be honest with you. I'm a recovering alcoholic. In fact, just past 30 years of sobriety.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. It doesn't happen, as you know, on your own. It happens because people have been there for me.
In a community. Yeah.
Blessed. Yeah. And that's what I write about, is community, and that we need community. But I know what it's like to hit bottom. I know what it's like to want to die. I know what despair feels like. And I know what being saved feels like. And I don't mean in a religious sense necessarily. I just to go from wanting to die to wanting to live,
Wow.
not necessarily knowing how to live or what to do, but wanting to live, knowing that the pain can end, to looking around and going from truly believing that the world is a nasty place and people are about to do terrible things to me and that I am wronged and I am the victim and poor me, to understanding that people are good. People really are good. People, there's a line from, or a saying from Sister Prejean, who worked, I'm not sure if she still does, with convicts on death row. And she said that no one of us is as bad as the worst thing we've done.
Mm.
And it's just so important for me to remember that. And I know it's true. And I know that people are decent and that we can do terrible things to each other, but that doesn't mean that we are at our core, in our marrow, bad people. Now, which isn't to say that everybody's like that. Clearly, some people really are nasty pieces of work and irredeemable, but most of us want to be decent. Most of us are good. There's the line from, and I know that you know it, from Auden's elegy to Melville. And it essentially starts off by saying, goodness existed. That was the new knowledge. His terror had to blow itself quite out to let him see it. So the books are about terror, and I understand terror, that not the terror external necessarily, but the self-manufactured terror, which is really awful. And finally, it's about goodness, knowing that goodness exists.
It does exist. And Louise, it certainly exists in you. I mean, that was such a beautiful, open thing to share with us. Thank you. Thank you for talking to us about that. And, you know, I know we've talked about this before, but you have been tremendously supportive of us too. I mean, we've, you know, a few of us here at Friends in Fiction have gone through difficult times, and you, even when you didn't know us that well, I really stepped up as a friend, and we deeply appreciate you. And we're so happy for your 30 years of sobriety. That's incredible.
I think you're heroes. I think you're heroes. Not everybody talks about health issues, you know, and the challenges and the fears and the things that are going wrong, and you know, when you feel like crap, and you know, because we all, particularly, don't you find, as women, we have been raised to have that veneer that everything, you know, you're on fire.
Don't worry about me.
I'm fine.
Exactly.
How are you?
Exactly. What can I do for you?
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry. I'm on fire. Am I?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
My hair is smoldering. I'm really sorry.
Oh man. Oh,
Not
it's
funny.
So true. So, Louise, along the lines of talking about decency and goodness, I think that so often in novels we find marriages that are strained or otherwise on the rocks because those are great sources of conflict. I mean, as novelists, we're looking for things that that feel contentious on the page sometimes, because those are great sources of plot. But in your books, Gamache and his wife, Irene Marie, are not only rock solid, but I think they serve as just great examples of how to have a healthy relationship, particularly in the way they talk with each other. With each of them pausing, even in the midst of terror and upheaval and everything that's going wrong in their lives, to gently check in with each other about their days. I mean, I read your books and I walk away from them wanting to be a better person in my own marriage. Like the example feels that powerful to me. So I would go so far as to say that they are one of literature's greatest romances. Oh. So can you talk a little bit about that, a very, very appealing element of these two characters and of that relationship?
Oh, thank you. That's lovely. I when I was writing the books, I didn't think they would be published. Well, the first book, certainly. I wanted it to be published, but I knew, what are the chances, right? I mean, you must have felt the same way.
Yes.
I want it to be published, but it's hard, and it's not getting easier.
No.
So I thought, I'm going to have to really love the writing of it. Yeah. So every decision I made was selfish.
I love
including that. Creating a man I would marry in Gamache, because I didn't want to grow tired of him. I sure didn't want to hang around if it did become a series with some guy who's, is a wife beater and, doing terrible things to other people, beating them up, or has alcohol or drug. I don't know why. I finally get a chance to be God. Why would I create such a flawed person?
Yeah,
And then be stuck with them for the rest of my life?
that's true.
So I decided just let's have someone I want to hang out with. And then I realized, in fact, it was inspired by my husband, Michael. And for the longest time, I thought I was Clara. And I think there are elements, in all of our books, there are elements of ourselves, of course,
Yep.
in probably all of the characters. But I understood Clara, who's an artist.
Yeah.
And she has this huge insecurity. As we all do. We might have this great front that, I'm confident. But in fact, because we put so much of ourselves into the books, into what we create, not just as writers, but every artist does, if they're being true to themselves.
Yeah.
So it's terrifying. It's terrifying that when we send it out there, that the world will laugh or will turn its back or won't. Yep. The worst would be if there's indifference, just doesn't care.
Yeah.
So it's very scary. And Clara suffers from that. And the sense that at 3 p.m, what she has just done, she's a painter, is brilliant. And at 3 a.m, it's a piece of merde.
Yeah.
And I know that. You know that. You're clearly nodding. Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't have to be 3 a.m, Louise. It can be an hour later.
Sometimes 11:30 in the morning.
Well, that was good. I could have done something with my time this morning besides write that super paragraph. Yeah.
Isn't it awful when we go back over? We probably have the same process where in the morning we go back and reread the stuff that we've written the day before. And you think, surely someone snuck into the house and wrote that.
Yes, I couldn't have written that. Yes.
Be me.
Delete. That's what the delete button's for. Okay.
So I thought I was Clara for the longest time. And I think I was. And then as Ren Marie took on a bigger and bigger role through the series, I realized that, in fact, I was really transcribing the relationship Michael and I had.
Oh, so sweet.
Which was respectful but playful at the same time. But you know what bothers me, though? Not of course with my books, which are brilliant, as in yours. But,
you see the record straight on things.
Yeah, exactly. Just in case there's any doubt.
There was none, but okay, go ahead.
When you see, it mostly happens in films where it's an action film and they're running from the bad guys and they have to dismantle a bomb or something and there's like 3 seconds to go, and instead of dismantling the bomb, the man and the woman, who generally have had this sort of on again off again thing, decide to kiss each other. Are you kidding me? What about the army that's chasing you? What about the bomb? Now you decide to turn to, no, run. So I'm very aware of that in the books, that the time for Ren Marie and Armand to sit down and talk about the grandchildren probably is not
when the grenade pin
the murderer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they do. I love that.
They do talk and about real things, and he respects her.
Yes.
And respects what it is she does for a living, because she has a very interesting career.
Yes.
So I'm going to shift a little bit because I really want to talk about the research, because of the nature of this book, which includes several different orders of monks, the biology of water supply, high-level security, secret chartreuse. I imagine that this must have required, unless you've lived with monks, it must have required a great deal of research. Where did you even begin? Where did it lead? And how did it inform the plot or unfold the plot?
That is really interesting. To be absolutely, totally honest, I have lived a little bit with monks.
That's amazing.
I can tell you that story, but it was 2 days. But I feel better for it.
That counts. That's 2 more days than we've lived with monks.
That's true. Yes.
So that helped. But the rest, I don't think, and I'm being completely honest with you and the people following this because they deserve it. I don't think my books would exist without the internet,
Yeah.
without being able to. I mean, I could go to libraries and did with still life before because this wasn't really available. But gosh, my books, they would be like every 5 years they would come out because it would take so long to look up. And I probably wouldn't. But now I have the grace, as we all do, to fall down little rabbit holes and find these gems and bring them back up and use them. So a lot of this was at one stage they go to a monastery in France. I'm not going to go to a monastery in the middle of nowhere in France for half a chapter. So, I Google it. And I look around and I explore it, and it's a great way to do the research. And the trick, though, don't you find, is to stop researching.
Oh,
that's the hard part.
Yes.
well, Kristen, you must you set so many of your book or a few of your books in Paris. Now that's not so tough, right?
It's not so tough, but but they're set in World War II Paris, and there are a lot of rabbit holes you can go down with that, and it's very hard to stop because, and I'm sure you feel this way too. I'm sure both of you do. I feel so passionate about the things I write about. I mean, what would be the reason to write these books if I didn't feel a passion for them? That as a reader myself, I'm interested in the things I'm reading about, and I want to keep reading. It's like it's rude that somebody expects me to turn around and actually write it.
But I do think that those rabbit holes and continuing to do the research, Louise, often plants the first seed for another story. So it's not ever wasted, right? Like you read this article that you think is about the book you're writing and you become enchanted by it. And there's a seed for another story. So there's this fine line.
Patty, I know this is supposed to be about me. And again, I am riveting.
True.
But Patty, your next book sounds incredible. And talk about research. How did you find out about that?
So that's what I'm talking about. And then we're doing this fast because this is about you. I was researching someone else. Mm-hmm. I was researching Beatrix Potter and discovered that Beatrix Potter made up her own language. Really? And so I fell down a rabbit hole of looking at women who had made up languages and found the next book. So I know it's happened with you. Chartreuse leads to monks, leads to a story, leads to, it just keeps going. So I always say, if you just follow your curiosity, what you think it's about might not end up being what it's really about.
It's the best job ever, isn't it?
Ever. When it works.
When it works. Yeah, no, that's a good point. When it doesn't
sometimes you write for 6 months, not that that's happened to me, and discover that that's not the book you're writing. So, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Well, Louise, we first had you on Friends and Fiction in December of 2022, which was right after the Three Pines series, which was based on the Gamache novels, debuted on Amazon Prime. I watched every episode and I absolutely loved it. I mean, I thought it was such a well done series, and I thought it really had the heart that I saw in your characters. And when I was reading The Grey Wolf, despite having read your series in the past and imagining the characters a bit differently, I found myself for the first time picturing Alfred Molina in the role of Gamache and Rossif Sutherland in the role of Jean-Guy Beauvoir. Did the TV series change anything at all about the way that you view these longstanding characters, or even the way you think about plotting or thinking of things in a more filmic way? Or have you been so immersed in this series for so long that Molina can never be Gamache in your mind and it exists as something totally separate?
It's hard. I, to be fair, struggled with the series. I thought Molina honestly was superb.
Yep.
Great casting and a marvelous actor.
Yeah.
But I also struggled with trying to get him out of my head. So that my image, and to be honest with you, I don't really have a hugely clear image of Gamache,
Yep.
mostly because I just feel him.
Yeah.
I don't so much see him. I mean, I know the broad strokes that he's in his mid-50s, that he's, a substantial fellow. He's over 6 feet. But beyond that, it's the emotional qualities that I recognize in him. So I really wanted to erase Melina from my mind. And I struggled a bit with the series in terms of the tone and some of the scripts and stuff. So it wasn't that hard for me to separate it from the books.
Yeah.
I wish they had stayed a little closer to the books for me, but I think all writers probably feel like that. Yeah. So when I write now, no part of me
thinks of that.
References the
Okay.
TV series. Yeah.
Interesting.
That's interesting. Yeah. And that's interesting that you say that about not having a clear vision of Gamache in your head, because I feel like that when I write characters too. I feel like one of the questions I get most often is, who would you cast in this role? If this were made into a movie. And I never have a good answer for my characters, because I don't see them as people who exist. They are they exist right here,
Yes.
and I struggle explaining that to people.
Yes, and I struggle explaining it to my editors, who often say we need more description. So I have actually put in description, but that Armand has deep brown eyes, that he has laugh lines down his face that are far more powerful than the lines made from grief. But beyond that, I think what we also try to do as writers, and the two of you do it so brilliantly, is there's a saying that I steer, you paddle. So we steer and let the readers paddle.
I like that.
And we're a team then. That reading is as creative as writing. And so the reader then gets to fill in the blanks and make Armand and all the other characters their own.
I feel like over description takes away from the story. I don't need to know what belt they wear or what color their shirt is. And the paddle, I love that analogy. Madeleine L'Engle has a quote that I'll botch, but it's that that reading is the bridge between the writer and the reader, that book is this bridge that you meet in the middle. So you might be standing in two separate lands, but you cross this bridge. And if we give them too much, they can't even get across the bridge because they need their experience too.
Yes. Oh, that's beautiful. I love the bridge analogy.
Yeah. Okay. Your first Gamache novel came out almost 20 years ago. So how do you think you've changed as a writer over the course of those 2 decades? And how is that reflected in your work?
That's a wonderful question. I'm much more confident.
Yeah.
I am still afraid, but the fear has shifted. I was afraid of failure to begin with. I was afraid, and I'm not so afraid of failure now, but I'm still afraid. Like, the book has just come out, and I'm afraid of how are people going to like it.
Yeah.
But I know I can do it. The fear initially was that I could write the first book, but I couldn't write the second or the third.
Yeah.
I'm much braver. I'm more willing to take chances.
Okay.
I'm more willing to put myself in. And Canadian history, I feel like I am a child in a candy shop because there is so much interesting history in Canada, never mind in Quebec.
Yeah.
And most Canadians don't know it because we were raised with British history or American history. And we were told that our own history was not important. And it's simply not true.
Yeah.
No, it's fascinating.
So many amazing stories and characters and people, men and women, who need to be celebrated.
Yeah.
And I get to do that now. And I have no fear. There was a sense when I was trying to sell Still Life, and I kept hearing nobody would be interested in a crime novel set in Canada.
Oh.
I know. What do you do with that?
Yeah.
You
I'm
can't
not
fix
gonna change.
that, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the story. Yeah.
I think, and I love my publishers, and they have been fabulous. But I think people are much more. You said curious, much more curious, much more brave in their reading than publishers give them
Yeah.
credit for.
100%.
Much smarter.
Yes.
So yeah, of course they're interested in a crime novel set in Canada. They're not interested in a boring crime novel set in
Right.
There you
London
go.
or in anywhere else. Because I
Right.
don't know where it's set. You know what it's about too? Is that if you love the place you're writing about, if you have
Yeah.
a sense of it, then the reader will too.
I
You can
agree.
make it come alive. The smells and the sights and the sounds. Then the reader will love it. They say the literary tourism. Where
Yeah.
Oh, I
I'm
like that
probably,
phrase. I like
yeah,
that.
I'm
Let's
never probably going to go to, I don't know, Norway,
Yeah.
but I can go there
Yeah.
by
In a
reading
novel.
the literature in a novel.
Yeah.
So it sounds like one of the biggest differences is you feel freer.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. And I've been so lucky
Welcome to
beyond
the
anything.
analysis couch with Patty Callahan.
But I'm of a certain age. I'm 66. I've been writing for 20 years. I have had success beyond anything I ever dared dream of, thought was
Yeah.
possible. And that's given me a freedom too, because I can afford to fail.
Yeah, there you go.
So
Yes.
I can leap off the cliff and hope that readers come with me and hope it's worth the trip. Hope we don't all fall in a bloody heap at the bottom. But let's just go for it. I have, it used to be in front of me here, but it's now by the front door. It's a poster with the final words of the Irish poet Seamus Heaney.
I love him.
Yeah, isn't he amazing? Well, he's dead now.
I have all his books right there.
Oh, do you? Oh, wow.
Yeah, at least 3 of them. Yeah.
So on his deathbed, as you probably know, he said to his wife, "Noli to marry." And I had that in front of me for years as I wrote, and it means be not afraid. So I'd look at it and say, you can do this. You can do this. You can dig deeper. You can take that chance. Just don't become formulaic. Don't write the same book. Just go for it.
Oh my gosh, I love that phrase.
I love that too. You know, we
Little
were
Latin
talking
for the day.
exactly. Yeah, we were talking before we came on about how the three of us have all been writing for about the same amount of time. We had books come out our first books come out in 2004, 2005, and 2006, right? I'm asking this now because I am 5,000 words into my next book, and I'm at that point at the very beginning where I still feel like just that self-doubt creeps in. Does that still happen to you, Louise? Even though you were writing with less fear, even though you're braver, is there still a point? For me, it's always at the beginning. Is there still a point where you think, "Can I really do this again?" or where you doubt yourself?
Yes. Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Tends not to be so much at the beginning because I've thought about the beginning for
It's so
many
much.
months. I have a sense of it. It's exciting. I can probably get about 40 or 50,000 words in
Okay.
and then get lost and then think, I have taken it a step too far. I don't know how to get out of this, and nobody's going to believe it. It's ridiculous. The characters aren't believable.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It
Nobody's
wasn't a good idea in the
Yeah.
first place.
Right. It's laughable. It's all those things. And
All of it.
generally in my mother's voice.
Oh, interesting.
Interesting.
That is
Yeah,
interesting.
and you're not wearing that, are you?
We'll take that to the analysis couch after.
Exactly. I feel like there's so much to unpack here. It's stirring up my feelings too.
We don't
Oh
have
my
time
goodness.
for that. Okay.
I'll have to come back.
Oh, we gosh, anytime, Louise. We absolutely love you. All right, Louise, if you would stick around for just a minute, we have a couple more questions for you. We have a little bit more to talk to you about. But first, a few quick reminders for our listeners and viewers out there.
All right, y'all. You have been watching and you have been listening, and now you know you're going to rush out and buy your copies of The Gray Wolf. The perfect place to do that is in the Friends and Fiction shop on bookshop.org. You'll get it at a discount and help to fund our show. And the most important, support our guests and our beloved independent booksellers nationwide.
Honestly, how could you not buy the book after this whole conversation we've had?
No,
It's honestly, it's so
that'd
good.
be bonkers. Okay.
Exactly.
We
All
adore
right. We
you.
also we also want to remind all of you out there to follow us on Instagram and to join our Facebook group, which is now officially more than 250,000 members strong. I still can't believe that every time we say that, Patty, right? It's
know.
250,000 members. When you visit friendsandfiction.com, you can stay up to date about everything we have going on. And while you're there, you can sign up for Friends and Fiction Endless Stories, which is our Substack, which is chock full of bonus content. All right, so now back with Louise. Louise, without spoilers, there are some threads that are not totally tied up at the end of the novel, I felt like, which makes me wonder if you're already working on book 20 in this series. Can you tell us anything about what comes next?
No.
Most distinct answer. Most distinct.
I can tell you that it's a piece of crap, and I really
You probably shouldn't use that as the blurb on the front. I'm
Oh.
just gonna say.
Oh my God. Louise Penny's latest
actually,
piece of crap. Okay.
I have actually finished the next book, and you're quite right. There is because life is like that, isn't it? And I think the contract with the reader is essentially that the main arc be resolved, because people have spent a lot of money and a lot of precious private time, personal time reading. I don't want them to feel that they have wasted their time and money. So
Or been let down.
there are resolutions, but then as in life, there are ongoing issues.
Yes.
So yeah, and probably more so in this one than I've done it before, but probably more so in this one than in others. So, and that's a bit of a challenge. That was a bit of a challenge for the next book, to pick up that thread and
that makes sense,
and have it feel part of a whole.
You're reminding me, Louise, though, we should note that The Grey Wolf does stand alone, as do all of your books. They are part of a greater series, but if you haven't read a Louise Penny book before, you can start really with any of them. I mean, I think you do such a good job of continuing those threads, but allowing them to stand on their own 2 feet also.
Don't you find, because we're all, I mean, that's hard at this point.
Yes.
19, 20 books into to introduce new readers to the characters without having just an information dump and boring people who've already invested all that time. How much to tell without spoiling earlier books, and it's something I struggle with. I don't think I always get it right, but it's something I'm aware of, and I certainly try.
In case, right, so someone can just go grab this and not know all the history. I think you do it beautifully.
Yeah, you really do. Yeah.
All right. Where can everyone find you on tour or online? Because I know that you're hitting the road now that the book is out. Where are you going to be?
Right. Well, I started
with you.
I started in New York, and then went to Sykesville, Maryland.
Okay.
And then to Pennsylvania, and then Boston, and then the Westbrook, Maine. Sorry, I'm just looking at my schedule because it's a bit, you can't.
We live in 24-hour increments.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, one thing I decided to do, because again, I've been so lucky that there are a lot of people now who come out, which is amazing, but it means that I can no longer personalize because the lines are it's just too long. So I pre-sign all the books. So everyone who comes gets a pre-signed book, but I can't personalize.
Yep.
And it is a bit tiring. But I miss meeting people. So I said to Sarah Melnick, the fabulous publicist at Minotaur Books, that let's go back to the beginning. Let's do a kind of an unplugged, where let's choose a small bookstore, independent bookstore somewhere, who might have gotten me 15 years ago, but not likely to now, and go there and do an event with them. It'll be smaller, more intimate. I'll do the event, and then we'll go down into the basement and have tea and cookies and just chat and hang out. So that's how the American tour will end.
I love that.
Louise,
love
just when we thought we couldn't love you more. I mean, seriously, that's incredible. And we very strongly support independent booksellers here. So
I know you do.
it's just lovely to hear that you're giving back in that way. That's incredible. And what a great opportunity for readers.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. We've been so, for you as well, everyone, friends in fiction, all the authors. It's without libraries and independent bookstores, we would not exist.
We wouldn't be here. Yeah.
You were so right. It's so true. Well, Louise, I can't thank you enough for joining us, for being so open, so honest, so warm, so kind. I mean, I can't tell you how much we adore you. We absolutely loved having you with us today on the Friends in Fiction show.
I think people can see that it's mutual, and it truly is. I have so much admiration for all of you as writers, but even more than that, because one day our writing will end, and what you want to be is good people, and you are amazing people, and I'm so blessed to have you in my life.
Oh, we feel the same. Thank you.
I know. All right, everyone. After that,
I know.
Be sure to tune in next week when Christy and I will welcome our friend JT Ellison to discuss her new novel, A Very Bad Thing. The video, the opposite of what we're talking about. The video broadcast of that interview will air live on the Friends in Fiction Facebook page and YouTube channel on Wednesday, November 6th at 7 p.m. and published on the podcast that following Friday.
So thank you to all of you out there for being with us. We'll see you next time. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you for tuning in. You can join us every week on Facebook or YouTube, where our live show airs on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Also, subscribe to our podcast and follow us on Instagram. We're so glad you're here.